Hey guys, so I'm back again and I am going to be doing a book tag today, which I'm excited about. I really like doing book tags, but I haven't done any for a while, so it's even more exciting. But today's book tag is going to be the TBR Book Tag, which I'm excited about. So this is just questions about like my TBR and what I do with it. And as you can see, this area right there is like all my TBR books, so I have a lot to read and I feel like this tag is good for me. So the first question is, how do I keep track of my TBR pile? Well, generally what I do is I have a section of books that are like must read, and I don't think you can see them, but they're up there. So there's a line here, if you can just see like the sort of the silhouette, they're all the books that I really want to get to. Then the next shelf is like the books I'm like excited for as well. Then that just keeps going down until it's in preference. So I have different piles, but I generally just like do whatever, but it's like I try and keep it piled in a way that so I know what I'm going to read. So I have a lot of options when I read because there's so many books there. The second collection is in my TBR, mostly print books or ebooks, and I mostly have print books. I have some ebooks that I have on an iPad and on my phone that I've been reading, but they're generally like the free ones you get that you don't really haven't heard of much. So I do have some, but mostly print. Question number 3 is, how do you determine which book from your TBR you'll read next? I go by how I'm feeling most of the time. So if I feel like a contemporary, I'll pick a contemporary. If I feel like a fantasy, I'll pick fantasy. So it depends on what I'm feeling. But it also depends on like if it's a new release, because generally I try and read new releases as soon as possible just so I can read them and get like my feels about them out. And also if I'm doing readathons, I generally try and read the books that I'm doing for a readathon. But other than that, I pick on how I feel. Question number 4 is a book that's been on your TBR the longest, and I would have to say it's probably the Vampire Diaries series. I've had these books for so long, probably like 3 to 4 years I've had these books, and I have 6 of them, and I've read the first 4, but I just haven't gotten to read in the series. It's not that I find it boring, like some parts can be a bit, and there's a lot of other books I want to read before I get to the Vampire Diaries book, so I do plan on reading them. But like this one is like 600 pages and it's quite big, as well as the rest of the series. If you can see them, they're down there, and I have 6 in total, so I don't know when I'm going to get to them, but I hope I do. If I didn't ever plan on reading them, I'd probably get rid of them, but I'm not getting rid of them yet, so hopefully. The 5th question is a book you've recently added to your TBR, and I'll just say When We Collided by Emery Lloyd. It was the first one I picked up from a shelf, so I'm very excited to read this book, and I hope I do get to it soon. I don't know when, but I hope. Question number 6 is a book on your TBR strictly because of its cover, and for that one I'm going to be picking Tonight the Streets Are Ours. I actually saw this on Goodreads first for a competition of picking what your favourite cover was, and this was my favourite, and I didn't even know anything about it back then, and then I saw that the book was coming out and I bought it and it sounded really good, and still definitely on there for the cover because that's what drew me to this book first. But I am thinking the story is going to be really great as well, but I'm excited because it's so pretty. Question 7 is a book on your TBR that you never plan on reading. I'm going to pick The Lovers by Eden Bradley because I got this book at first because I thought it sounded really nice, but as I've been looking at reviews and my reading chase has changed, I've realized I don't want to really read this because it is actually a pretty erotic book, and I don't know if I really want to be reading that just because there's so many other more interesting storylines I could be reading. So I actually think I might be getting rid of this book soon because I don't want to read it really. It just doesn't interest me anymore at all, so I probably will be getting rid of this, but it's just a book that I have on my TBR that I don't think I'll ever read. Number 8 is an unpublished book that you're really excited for that's on your TBR, and I'm going to say Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas, which is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series. It's one that I'm really excited for, and there's only a couple more months until it comes out, so it's just like, yes, it's happening. I'll be able to read another book in this series and be able to get more intensified in the series, so I'm very excited because I think it will be really good, and it's like, yes, come out. Question number 9 is a book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. I'm going to say Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in her new series, The Dark Artifices. I bought this quite a few months ago and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to read it. And then I never did, and now I don't think I'm actually going to read this until Tales of Shadowhunter Academy come out because I really would like to read them first, and I'm going to wait for them to come out in print form, so I won't be reading this. But one of my friends got this book at the same time as me, and she flew through it, and every time I say I haven't read it yet, she's just like, you need to read it, you need to read it. So she keeps telling me and recommending it, and there's so many people on YouTube are saying that it needs to be read, so I just feel bad that I'm probably going to be waiting until like November, December to read this, because I've already waited 3 months without reading it. So I think I can wait a few more, hopefully. But it really depends. If I get really excited and I have to read it, I probably will. But this is one that I've definitely had recommended to me a lot, so I don't know. Number 10 is a book on your TBR that everyone has read but you, and I'm going to say Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I feel like a lot of people have read this, and I do feel like I'm one of the only people who hasn't read it, because it's such a popular book, and so many people have read it, and most of the YouTubers that I know have read this book, and it's just like, I gotta get to it. I've had this since like Christmas and I haven't read it, and I'm just like, I need to do that, because it's like, I know I'm going to enjoy this story, it's just I haven't picked it up yet, and it's just like, sorry. Number 11 is a book on your TBR that you're dying to read, and I'm going to choose Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This came out like at the beginning of the year, and I was so excited, and when I saw it in the bookstore, I got it, and I haven't read it. It's nearly June, and I haven't read it. I need to read this, but I've been tied up with doing so many different projects with reading and doing readathons and so much stuff that I just haven't read it. But I know I'm going to love it so much. I just need to read it, but I haven't. I've got to try. I'm very excited. I'm dying. I need to read this. I have to get it done. I don't know when, but I will. And question number 12 is, how many books are on your Goodreads to be read shelf? And for me, I have 147, and that is only the books that I have that I own. I don't like adding books to my Goodreads shelves if I don't actually own a physical copy of them, or if I haven't read them. So I really only put books on there that I already own. So I have 447 books sitting on my shelves that I haven't read, and it's like, I can't stop buying them, and I can't read them fast enough. That is my issue. I can't read fast enough. But anyway, guys, that was my TBR book tag. I hope you learned a bit more about me and my reading and the books I own that I haven't read. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.